My name is Amy Fuller. Welcome to the State of the City and County. At this time, I would like to give a big thank you to our sponsors for today. The event sponsor is 2+4 Management. Our breakfast sponsor is Marker USA. And our diamond sponsors, Tompkins Community Bank, Lions National Bank, Cayuga Nation, and the Atrium on Genesee. We will begin this morning with the City of Auburn's updates from Mayor Jimmy Giannettino, and then the City Manager Jenny Haines will speak. And then County Legislature Chair Giannettino will give his updates, and then we'll take questions after Jonathan's remarks. I also want to acknowledge some elected officials from the city, Mayor Jimmy Giannettino, City Councilor Craig Diego, from the Legislature, the Legislative Chair, Jonathan Anna, and then Legislatures Heidi Nightingale and Tom Winslow. So can I have a round of applause for all of our elected officials? All right, without any further ado, come on up, Mayor Jimmy, and we will start the program.
Good morning, everyone. I felt like Johnny Carson coming out of that curtain. For those of you I don't know, my name is Jimmy Giannettino. I have the honor and privilege to serve the people of Auburn as their mayor. I'd like to thank Amy and her team at the Chamber of Commerce for organizing today's event and for Auburn Public Theater for hosting us. We've got Steve Selvik in the back flipping slides for us. Thanks, Steve. There's been some changes in leadership at the city since last year's State of the City. A new council was sworn in on January 1st. Myself, Councilor Christina Clarko, and Councilor Overstreet Wilson are in the third year of our 4-year terms. Councilor Terry Cuddy was sworn in for a 4th term, and our newest city councilor, Craig Diego, was sworn in for his 1st term. Craig is actually here with us today. We have a new city manager, Jenny Haines. She took over in May of last year. Everybody knows that the city of Auburn provides countless indispensable and vital services to the people of Auburn, and really oftentimes outside of the city of Auburn. That's a conversation for another day. But here are some of the services that we provide. Like I said, they're all vital, and we certainly appreciate the city staff that works tirelessly to provide those for all of us. Those services are what drive our budget, and we're entering our budget season. That'll start Thursday, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. These graphs show where we're at. Every budget year is challenging. I'm entering my 11th budget year. The challenges are different now than they were 11 years ago. Post-COVID, the challenges are now much different. Costs continue to escalate across the board. We've experienced drastic increases in things like our NYSEG bills, our health insurance, our pension payment costs. When I say drastic increases, I'm talking multi-million-dollar increases. And like many municipalities across the state, we're going to have to figure out how to continue to provide those services that everybody relies on, but also maintaining affordability for the people who have to pay for those services. Last year was challenging for sure. We took what we felt were necessary steps. We left some vacancies across the city organization trying to prepare for this year. We did fill the gap with the remaining ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan, that was signed during COVID by President Joe Biden. For municipalities across this state, not just the state, but this country, ARPA proved very valuable to try to keep affordability there at the local level, but bridge that double-digit inflation that we all felt. This year, we find ourselves in an extremely challenging position. We'll talk more about that starting Thursday. But the one thing I want to point out is Auburn is not alone. For everybody in this room, Auburn is the center of the universe, and we'll think that the problems are unique to us. But there's been some reports recently that cities across the state are facing similar struggles. Last year, Watertown had an 18% tax increase. This year, the city of Buffalo is proposing a 25% tax increase. The city of Albany just directed all budget heads to prepare 5, 10, and 15% reduction cuts across the board. We're going to have similar conversations. That's just the plain hard truth of the reality that we're facing. But I'm confident that we have the right leadership team between the city council and city manager Haines and staff across the board to figure this out. What's going to be presented Thursday is preliminary. We've got 3 months to work this out. So bear with us as we do that. There will be changes in the way we do things, and I just want to prepare the public for that. On top of those multi-million-dollar increases to health insurance, pension payments, tens of thousands of dollars to utility bills, there's that component of state funding that I've talked about the entire time I've been on city council. This is the third time I've delivered a state of the city, and I will talk about this no matter how long I'm in office, because this here is the crux of the problem that we all face. AIM funding, AIM incentive to municipalities. I'm going to show us some bipartisanship here. It was a great program started by a Republican governor, George Pataki. And it was a revision of a program that was basically revenue sharing from the state of New York to municipalities across the state. Some people who don't understand that think that it's a handout to municipalities. What it really is us getting our money back. Our sales tax and income tax that we send to the state, it comes back to municipalities to fund the vital services we all rely on, because local governments are at the forefront of making sure people have whatever they need. That program was designed, there was a base amount that every municipality received, and then there was a formula put in place that, depending on whether or not you broke the tax cap, because we all face a 2% tax cap, you would receive between 2.5% to 7.5% increases on an annual basis. Great idea, right? The problem is those increases never came. In fact, the program was cut at one point, and then those cuts were never restored. So under 4 future administrations, there have been no increases to AIM funding, yet our costs continue to increase. Again, COVID, double-digit inflation. A couple years ago, there was a temporary bump in it, which we are thankful for. The problem is it's temporary. We never know if it's going to be included in the state budget. The state budget is underway right now. There is a proposed additional increase to the temporary line, but we need it to be permanent. And if you look at the green line, that's where we're at. It's been flat. The blue line is the temporary increase. The yellow line is where we would have been if the 7.5% had come through every year. And by the way, I want to go on record, the city of Auburn has never broken the tax cap. But these numbers just aren't sustainable. And if you look at them, anybody with basic accounting skills or math skills, if you balance a checkbook, you understand that this is just not sustainable long term. We have lobbied tirelessly to the state of New York. I will say that Senator May has been an ally in this fight. She advocates every year. The governor seems to be budging a little bit on it. There were some elections in the fall and some changes in leadership in major cities across the state. And now that the big dogs are barking, she's starting to listen a little bit. The other numbers I want to throw out there is, even though there's been no permanent increases in these numbers, the state budget this year is on track to be $260 billion. In 2010, the state budget was $134 billion. So in 16 years, it's essentially doubled, and there's been no increases to funding to municipalities. People often ask, how can they help? Give a call to the governor's office and explain the importance of this program. Compounding our issues, we have aging facilities across our city hall and our police station, ambulance station are going to be 100 years old here in a few years. We have obligations, legal obligations to provide court space. We are under extreme pressure from the Office of Court Administration to undergo multi-million-dollar upgrades to that space. I know that the county's feeling that pressure as well. So that's just another one of the challenges, the real challenges that we face. We have a tremendous police department that does a great job on a daily basis protecting the people of this city. And they have a substandard facility that they have to go to work at every single day. So it's just, again, one of the challenges that we face. And just to show you that I'm not all doom and gloom, I want to talk about one of the bright spots in the city of Auburn, and that's our summer rec program. This program came back a few years ago. There were calls across the city asking for us to do more for the youth of this community. At the same time, there was a teacher in the district, Meg Gremley, who reached out during COVID, and she had this great idea to revive the summer rec program. Meg Gremley, along with Brian Rhodes, who works in our Department of Public Works, have been instrumental in reviving this program. We served over 3,000 children this summer. That was up from about 2,300 the previous summer. If you drive by any of the parks during this program in the summer, it's a great thing to see. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the countless sponsors across this community that make this program happen. Without them, we would not have it. So thank you all, and many of you are in this room today. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Ms. Haines. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Jenny Haines. I'm the city manager for Auburn and proud and honored to serve in that capacity. Thank you to Mayor Giannettino for outlining city projects, initiatives, and some challenges ahead of us. I want to take just a few minutes to summarize some of our capital projects, business development, and housing development projects in the city's comprehensive plan. So how to transition from summer rec to wastewater? We'll just do it. The city has hit the 2-year mark with construction for substantial improvements to the wastewater treatment plant on Bradley Street. The project replaces aging wastewater treatment plant infrastructure with a focus on improved biosolids processing capabilities to manage rising management and disposal costs. If you need to ask about biosolids, Seth Jensen is here. Don't ask me. This project improves the sludge thickening process, implements a digestion process to reduce sludge volume, installs a biosolids dryer and dry product storage area, and replaces the overflow retention facility. Currently, we have been successful in utilizing the improved biosolids process, removing biosolids utilizing the new digester, pumping process, and belt press systems. Within the next few months, the biosolids removal process will be fully operational, and we're projecting that the new removal process will reduce operational costs by $400,000 for the fiscal year 27-28 budget. New York State will be moving forward reconstruction of the arterial starting in late summer. Can I get a hip hip hooray on that? Project bid date is June 2026, and the award date will be in July of 2026. Stormwater improvement work to begin in August through the fall of 2026, and the bulk of paving and final improvements to occur in the summer of 2027. We're excited to move forward on the Lake Avenue Bridge project, a significant rehabilitation of the bridge, which is intended to extend the service life by 25 years. Total project cost is approximately $9.4 million, funded through a Bridge New York grant, city bond, and New York State touring route funding. So thank you again to New York State for that. The bridge will close at the end of June 2026 and reopen in late August, early September 2027, with the intention to only impact one school year. City staff has worked closely with Auburn and Large City School District staff in anticipating this project and working on detours and adjusted school bus routes. So thank you to the school for your cooperation with this project. Also, as part of the city's annual road program, Lake Avenue will be repaved this year as well. We understand the winter has been tough on our roads, and we're working diligently to prioritize and address these conditions. The full road program will be presented during the City Council meeting this Thursday if you're interested in more detail. The city will soon complete the rehabilitation of the Wall Street Playground, utilizing federal Community Development Block Grant program funding. Our total investment there is $704,000. We completed phase 1 in December of 2024, which included fencing, play equipment, walking path, and benches. And we are working through phase 2, which will be complete in May of 2026, including resurfacing and fencing along the basketball court, new pavilion, climbing structure, and landscaping. The The city continues to proactively work with community partners, including Auburn Industrial Development Authority, Cayuga County Development Corporation, Cayuga County Industrial Development Agency, and the Small Business Development Center, to provide our local companies with resources needed for retention and expansion projects. In addition, we are continuing to work together to position Auburn and Cayuga County for regional opportunities. On January 1st, the city entered into lease agreements with Cayuga County Development Corporation and the Small Business Development Center, providing co-located space at City Hall at no cost and allowing for increased collaboration between these entities. The city will continue to work with partners toward a coordinated strategic economic development strategy. I wanted to outline a few projects that have happened or are proposed to happen in this coming year. Bomer expanded into a new facility in Technology Park. They renovated and upgraded warehouse and infrastructure for expansion and support of their growing Earth Planner product lines. And many of you may be aware that Earth Planner was voted the coolest thing made in New York in 2025. Builder's Choice is expanding at 30 Cottage Street, includes the redevelopment of that site at the corner of Cottage and Seymour to include an office and showroom and a lumber yard, and they have also added a rail spur to the site. We have a proposed project from Indus Hospitality on Grant Avenue. They're proposing to construct a new 89-suite extended stay hotel, $22 million investment. The anticipated construction timeline is the spring of 2027 through the fall of 2028. We're also looking forward to Canandaigua National Bank's expansion in Auburn. And I'm a loyal 3-Leaf and Simple Roast customer, but I'm also enjoying working through the flavor options at 7 Brew. There's been a lot of discussion across New York State about the shortage of housing. The city has a deep interest in understanding these housing needs in our community and pursuing opportunities for housing development. To that end, the city has kicked off a housing market study as part of our comprehensive plan update. We wanted to highlight a couple housing projects that are being proposed in the city. There's a project proposed at 28 Aurelius Avenue, which is the former RPM Industries site. The proposal is to remediate and renovate the existing buildings, rejuvenate the site, and provide 40 workforce condos. We're excited about that project. It's a different type of housing that we don't have represented in our community at the moment, and will provide 1 and 2 3-bedroom units. The City of Auburn and Auburn Housing Authority Development Company submitted as co-applicants to the Move-In NY program. If awarded, this would provide funding to support for the installation and sale of 10 cross-mod homes on vacant city-owned lots. A code-compliant foundation is constructed and utilities are installed on the lot where the home is to be situated, and the home is then moved in sections to the lot and permanently affixed to the foundation. Upon completion, the homes will be sold to eligible home buyers. We also wanted to highlight neighborhood revitalization efforts in the West Street, Barber Street, and Venice Street area, which reflect a multifaceted strategy focused on stabilizing housing conditions, eliminating blight, and encouraging long-term investment. In recent years, the city has prioritized the West Street neighborhood area through a combination of property redevelopment, demolition of unsafe structures, and strategic partnerships with nonprofit housing organizations. A key component of this effort has been the rehabilitation of vacant properties. The City of Auburn has partnered with Auburn Housing Development Company here as well, and other partners on the rehabilitation of vacant properties on Barber, Venice, and Derby Streets that will result in housing units being returned to productive use for both homeownership as well as quality, affordable housing units. The city's current comprehensive plan was drafted and adopted in 2010. The prior plan dated back to 1993. While the current plan has served us well, at more than 15 years old, an update is needed. A comprehensive plan is a long-term land use document that articulates a community's visions and goals for development and growth. This plan is the foundation for all land use regulations and is often necessary when seeking funding opportunities. We have seen significant redevelopment within the city since the adoption of the existing comprehensive plan, including improvements in downtown public spaces and housing. The Office of Planning and Economic Development secured funding from New York State to assist with the comprehensive plan update and is managing this process going forward. Similar to the process in 2009, the city has contracted with a community planning firm to facilitate opportunities for community participation in the update process, which kicked off yesterday with our steering committee's first meeting. And I know there are some steering committee members here, so thank you for your participation with us. We anticipate that the city's updated comprehensive plan will be a key component to Cayuga County's strategic plan. I'm excited to work with the City Council and my fellow city employees to continue delivering our services with excellence, efficiency, integrity, and responsibility for the benefit of our residents, businesses, and visitors. Thank you to all of our city employees for their hard work and dedication every day. Thank you to Auburn Public Theater and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting us today. Thank you to our partners at Cayuga County, who I'm looking forward to hearing from next. And thank you all for coming today. And I will turn it over to Jonathan Anna, Chairman of the Cayuga County Legislature.
Well, good morning, everyone. Get this out of the way a little bit because I tend to lean over the podium. Well, first, I'd like to say thank you to Amy and the Chamber for hosting us this morning. I appreciate the opportunity to present not just about the challenges we face, but also the good things happening across Cayuga County. Mr. Mayor and distinguished guests, I'm honored and privileged to stand here today representing our county and our legislature. I'd like to take a moment to recognize my fellow legislators, several of whom are in attendance today. We don't always agree, and honestly, sometimes we don't even get along. But over the past year, we have worked as a team in a nonpartisan manner to secure the future of Cayuga County. This morning, I'd like to recognize our nearly 700 employees who work every day to serve our community and provide the vital services that many of our citizens have come to rely upon. I'd like to thank all of them for their dedication, not the county government, but to a higher calling of public service. As I've spent nearly 25 years working for government, I believe that each one of them chose public service because they want to make a difference in our community and make it a better place to live. So on behalf of the legislature and the constituents we represent, thank you. Thank you for your continued service to our community, despite the challenges we face daily. New York governments are the administrators of federal and state programs like Medicaid, SNAP, food stamps, welfare, foster care, safety net, early intervention, and preschool programs, just to name a few. Unlike most other states in America, New York passes the responsibilities of these administration of these programs, the cost of these programs, to the counties. Cayuga County taxpayers are responsible for the first $14.7 million of Medicaid cost, up 13% since 2023. These mandated local shares of foster care is up 60% from 2024 and now cost local taxpayers $1.4 million, up from just only $400,000 2 years ago. Due to the institutional rate increasing from $400 to per child per day is now $800 per child per day. This is combined with the escalating mandated DSS local taxpayer costs, which have risen from $21 million in 2022 to over $27 million for 2026, representing a 26% local share increase in just 4 years. Cayuga County continues to face many challenges, as do many rural counties across New York State. These challenges are complicated by increased health insurance costs, increased costs of state mandated programs, and cuts to our state and federal reimbursements for those programs. This serves to widen the funding gap within these already not fully funded mandates from the state and federal government. The New York State HALT Act has led to higher jail expenses due to classification changes from the New York State Department of Corrections. These changes, along with staffing shortages within our jail, have contributed to the jail's increasing budget of $12.2 million, up over 28% since 2022. As most of you are aware, we had another challenging county budget year. With letters from the New York State Comptroller's Office and our external auditing firm, Cayuga County was placed on notice that continued use of fund balance and deficit spending could result in fiscal distress, risking our A1 credit rating, which if continued would result in higher borrowing costs and wasteful spending of future taxpayer dollars. This is why the purpose of the 2026 budget was to stabilize our finances, reduce our unsustainable dependence on fund balance, protect our credit rating, and place us in a financial position to move forward with the future of the Cayuga County Office Building. I believe our budget accomplishes that purpose, while in the long term protecting our credit rating and protecting Cayuga County taxpayers from millions of dollars in unnecessary interest. I'm very proud to live in Cayuga County. We are the #1 agricultural county in New York State. We're #1 in dairy, #2 in sheep and wool. I have to slow down when I say that because I often say sheep and wolves, but sheep and wolves don't go well together. However, this also results in a lower countywide property tax levy since farmlands, as they should be, are taxed at exempted lower rate. Unfortunately, a property tax levy increase of 1% is only equal to $454,000. When combined with the fact that Cayuga County currently only receives 25 cents on the dollar of sales tax spent in our county, the result is an increased burden placed upon Cayuga County property owners. Although I applaud the state for their support of our farmers, I'm calling on New York State Legislature, Senate, and the governor to support rural upstate agricultural counties through the restoration of aid and incentive for municipal funding, better known as AIM, and I think the mayor did a very good job explaining that earlier. The program that counties were eliminated from in the 1990s, but continue for upstate cities and towns across the state. And I say this, and I speak for myself, I don't actually speak for my board when I say this. If New York State is going to bail out New York City, they can surely assist rural counties that grow the food and milk the cows that feed our communities. Counties who have the same mandated cost without the tax base to absorb the increasing cost, resulting in unsustainable budget cuts and tax increases. As we look forward to our 2027 budget, Cayuga County will face similar challenges, including the loss of SNAP administration funding. Beginning in October, H.R. 1, also known as the Big Beautiful Bill, reduces SNAP administration reimbursements from 50% down to 25%. This results in over $500,000 in additional local share costs for Cayuga County taxpayers. These costs could also increase as the error rates across New York State, including New York City, could further reduce our funding. This is why we continue to work towards reducing our costs and find alternative sources of revenue. This includes establishing a structure or a fee contract for the Rev Theater's use of Merry-Go-Round Playhouse at Emerson Park. It is my understanding they've never paid a penny in rent to the county and rely on your tax dollars to survive. Cayuga County is no longer in a position for taxpayers to subsidize this private theater company. I am also encouraged to hear that the Ward O'Hara Museum is in the process of establishing a 501c3, as I believe we should work towards a public-private partnership to reduce the taxpayer subsidies and reduce I get tongue-tied sometimes, my apologies. Reduce Ward O'Hara's museum reliance on taxpayer subsidies and preserve the legacy of Ward O'Hara through private funds. I continue to support changing our local law to receive a portion of our bed tax dollars. These are Cayuga County tax dollars, and placing a small percentage of these dollars towards our parks infrastructure will not only have a positive impact on our budget, but also tourism by ensuring these funds are used in maintenance and upkeep within our parks and trails. To reinvest those dollars in order to maintain the very sites that attract visitors and make our county a great place to stay and play. This, combined with reduced spending on non-mandated services and programming where allowable, will help bridge some of our budget gaps as we look forward to fiscal year 2027. We as a legislature are committed to fiscal responsibility. We must find ways to grow our economy and offset these rising costs without continuing to rely on the backs of property taxpayers. This is why last year I worked to reestablish our focus on economic development, to work as a team, and to better focus on the needs of our community. This is why I reached out to the Cayuga County Industrial Development Agency, the Auburn Industrial Development Agency, Small Business Development Center, and Cayuga County Development Corporation, along with the City of Auburn, whom all agreed to have a series of meetings where our community stakeholders had a seat at the table. I challenged the experts in the room to work towards a feasible path to establish a clear economic strategy for Cayuga County. These meetings resulted in countywide economic development strategy, which we have presented to the legislature. This strategy will identify and provide an action plan for addressing the highest priority needs and opportunities for economic development in Cayuga County. A new strategy that is implemented in partnership with the county and incorporating stakeholders' engagement will provide a unified vision and set of clear activities and outcomes for the next 5 to 10 years. In this way, it'll ensure that the community, legislature, and partners are speaking the same language and evaluating economic development efforts based on a common understanding. Within this strategy is a partnership with the Small Business Development Center, or SBDC, ensuring continued support for small businesses and entrepreneurs within Cayuga County, as they provide high-quality, time-intensive set of services that are very difficult and costly to provide locally. This investment enables SBDC to take advantage of federal SBA grant funds that our region is entitled to access and support local business growth. I'm thankful to Regional Director Bob Griffin for our continued partnership, and I just want to say thank you to the mayor and the city as well. It was out of these meetings that they actually presented the office space that the mayor referred to earlier today. The mayor and Jenny did. Our partnerships have already begun. Last month, Cayuga County was awarded $100,000 towards a countywide housing study. This grant required a $50,000 match for the $150,000 project. The match was funded by stakeholders, including the Auburn Housing Authority, City Planning, and the CCIDA. And I'd like to thank the CCIDA Board and Executive Director Michael Miller for providing the $20,000 match towards this project. Without these partnerships, this project would not have been a reality. With this, Cayuga County will conduct a comprehensive collection and analysis of market data to evaluate conditions and develop a new Cayuga County housing market study. The goal of this project is simple: to gather and compile necessary data and develop a comprehensive housing needs assessment, which includes recommended housing policy, priorities, and action items to support the future development in targeted appropriate areas within our county. We have great things taking place across Cayuga County. Last year, Cayuga Milk Ingredients completed a $170 million expansion with our industrial park located in the town of Aurelius, representing a bold step forward for Cayuga County's dairy industry. This project supports not only innovative and global competitiveness, but also local communities and family farms. As a family-owned cooperative, Cayuga Milk Ingredients exemplifies the spirit of collaboration and agricultural excellence that defines our county. The creation of up to 150 new jobs and the expansion of cutting-edge processing capabilities are a testament to what can be achieved when the public and private sectors work together. I am pleased that last year the CCID sold the remaining lots within our industrial park to CMI, aiding them in future expansion and reaffirming our commitment to their growth. Cayuga County looks forward to seeing Cayuga Milk Ingredients continue to thrive and lead the way in delivering premium dairy products to consumers, not only here locally, but around the world. Our Employment and Training Center, under the direction of Kelly King, has expanded their youth programming, are in the second year of receiving youth employment programs through Gun Involved Violence Elimination Initiative, or GIVE. They have developed a deeper relationship with Cayuga Milk, helping them fill many vacancies within their workforce. I am pleased to announce that CMI now has a representative on the Workforce Development Board. These partnerships are imperative as we continue to expand relationships with invested community partners and employers. Employment and training works in our schools from the northern end to the southern end by serving youth and employing youth in various work sites within all sectors of industries. This helps prepare our youth for the future. It is imperative to get young people involved and prepared for the future and remain in our community. This past year, Employment and Training partnered with Booker T. Washington's after-school program to focus on STEM-related occupations in all industries. And part of this segment was on semiconductors and microchips to help youth and expose them to future occupations at Micron. This morning, I'm excited to announce a new partnership in workforce development. Currently, Cayuga County partners with Cortland County, and as the state looks to consolidate and realign, new partnerships will be formed. Beginning this summer, we will no longer be part of Cortland County E&T, but forming a new partnership with Oswego County. This is an exciting opportunity, not just based on geography, but also in the partnership Oswego County already has in place and enhanced by our shared relationship with Cayuga Community College's campus location in Fulton. I'm excited about this new partnership and believe it could lead to new opportunities within economic development and engagement. The Cayuga Lake Protection Plan, also known as Cayuga County Sewer District Number 3, last week was awarded $16.5 million in state enhanced funding from the Environmental Facilities Corporation of New York State. Originally, they applied for a $15.5 million grant. The state realized the importance of this project and added another $1 million on top of it. That's why it's enhanced. This important initiative will help protect Cayuga Lake through improved water quality and reducing nutrient runoff that contributes to harmful algae blooms. I'd like to thank the Cayuga County Legislature for allocating $500,000 ARPA funds towards the planning phase of this project, which ultimately resulted in a $16.5 million enhanced grant from New York State. Now, that's a great return on investment. None of this would have been possible without the hard work of the CCWSA. Along with its advisors and board members, and as a member of the CCSWA board, I'd like to thank Director Carl Reinflesch and his team for securing this investment for Cayuga County. I know they continue to work to secure further funding as we strive to further offset the local costs of this new district and vital project. As I stated earlier, our social services costs continue to rise. This past year, we have made welfare fraud a priority in Cayuga County. This begins with our dedicated DSS staff and case integrity investigators, who once identify fraud, works with our sheriff's office and our DAs who prosecute these cases. Last week, the sheriff's office arrested 9 individuals who committed fraud and were receiving benefits they were not entitled to. This is not a victimless crime. This is stealing your taxpayer dollars. And let me be clear. If you live in Cayuga County or are looking to move to Cayuga County with the intention of committing welfare fraud, we will find you, we will arrest you, and we will prosecute you. I want to thank our DSS staff, led by Commissioner Bianco, Sheriff Skank, and District Attorney Antonacci, who have all shared a commitment to investigate and prosecute these cases, ensuring the benefits received are for those who need them most. Our health department, under the direction of Kathleen Cuddy, continues to demonstrate excellent work in 2025. One of their successes is the completion of the community health assessment process, involving a data-driven foundation to guide local health priorities. Their continued facilitation of the Healthy Neighborhood programs has improved home safety and environmental health for residents, especially vulnerable populations within our county. The department has also strengthened collaboration with community partners to host impactful events supporting children and youth with special health care needs, ensuring that families have vital access to resources and support networks. Looking ahead to 2026, these efforts position the department to build on its momentum with ongoing targeted, inclusive, and community-centered public health initiatives. I'm also pleased to announce a new home for our Department of Motor Vehicles. Currently, our DMV is operating out of a small conference room at the Sheriff's Office on County House Road. Despite the limited space and reduced staffing, our DMV continues to grow its revenues and book of business. Although some of this can be contributed to the Real ID mandate, much of this is contributed to the friendly and dedicated staff. I often receive compliments regarding our DMV. And I'm really amazed that when most people, because DMVs have such a bad rap, don't they? They made a TV show, a comedy called DMV. But I'm really amazed because people go out of their way to compliment our amazing staff and actually stop me and to say, and just compliment our DMV staff and how amazing they really are. And I truly believe this new location at Dill Street Commons will enhance our customer experience to match the customer experience our staff already provides. Like our entire workforce, they do an amazing job. Late last year, Empire State Development and the Connect All office, for reasons outside of Cayuga County's control, canceled the grant with the Central New York Regional Planning Board regarding the Cortland-Cayuga County broadband project, due to lack of progress and missed milestones. As you recall, Central New York Regional Planning Board asked for both Cayuga and Cortland counties to allow them to complete the broadband build-out within those counties with no ownership by the counties. Soon after they pulled the plug on us, Cayuga County, in consultation with ESD Connect All, was awarded $249,000 for planning and development in regard to develop a Cayuga County-specific broadband plan to serve our underserved areas. Currently, we have partnered through Connect All with HR&A Consultants, a recognized leader in broadband infrastructure. Together, we are working to bridge the gaps in broadband coverage across Cayuga County. Cortland County moved in another direction. They are working on an application and funding regarding their own broadband project. Working together can bring sometimes unplanned results. And I'm pleased to announce they have included a section of southern Cayuga County in this project with no cost to Cayuga County. This portion of the project provides benefits to both Cortland and Cayuga counties, and it could serve nearly 6,000 Cayuga County residents, and they were looking for a feasible pathway to Syracuse. I'm pleased they decided to include our county as we continue to find ways to partner within our region. I'd like to thank Chairman Finch and the Cortland County Legislature for their continued partnership as we work to enhance our communities. I should have brought my coffee with me. We continue to move forward with infrastructure upgrades and improvements within Emerson Park. One of these projects is the park entrance and parking lot improvements, along with maintenance and repairs to the pavilion. One of the most attended events in the park is our Summer Epic Concert Series, hosted by the Friends of Emerson Park, and attracts thousands to the parks each summer. I'd like to thank the Friends of Emerson Park for their commitment and dedication to this historical property. Our Youth Bureau is another bright spot within our community. They administer New York State Office of Children and Family Services, OCFS funds, within Cayuga County, and assist with the coordination and development of programs and services for children and youth under the age of 21. Each year, the county receives an allocation of funding from New York State for this purpose. There is an application process. Our Youth Advisory Board reviews these applications and makes determination on how to have the most impact with these funds within our county. Cayuga County continues to expand access to youth programming, reducing financial barriers to families, strengthen community engagement, and support enriching environments. Examples of some of these programs include, I'll do your lifesaver. Thank you. Examples of some of these programs with OCF and Cayuga County ARPA funds include programs like the Auburn YMCA Summer Swim Lessons. Funding offered, this was offered free swimming lessons. Booker T. Washington Center for funding for their staff to run their elementary school basketball league. Cato Youth Soccer Program for uniforms. And the Cato Recreation Center for, again, swim lessons. And Cayuga County Employment and Training for countywide youth STEM events held throughout junior high schools in Cayuga County. Meridian Ira and Cato Summer Recreation Program, funding to keep the program free of charge. And this is just a snapshot of some of the good work our Youth Bureau is doing. And I'd like to thank our Youth Bureau and Stop DWI Quarter, Deborah Dennis, for leading this program as we work with local communities to enhance the lives of our youth. This year, we celebrate the 250th anniversary of America. And I'm very grateful to live in this amazing nation. As we celebrate this historic milestone in American experience, our Youth Bureau will be administrating our local allocation of New York State Department of Education America 250 funding. Cayuga County has received $15,000 to commemorate the American Revolution through projects taking place in Cayuga County to commemorate the anniversary. Programs can include activities, performance, speakers, or other events that are open to the public. Collaborative partnerships and youth engagement is encouraged. We're accepting applications through 321, and we've already received some unique applications. Some of these examples are supporting for Cayuga County students participating in New York State History Month, activities to raise awareness of the women who aided in the Revolutionary War efforts, hands-on history programs, farming and agriculture during the war effort, and planting of white trees, a symbol of peace. Cayuga County is doing good things. Despite our challenges, we continue to move forward. Step by step, one day at a time, we move forward. We had a busy 2025, relocating staff in the new offices, clearing out the first floor of our county office building, finally turning off the lights. And I actually went through and had to turn off some lights myself in person, but we did work to get them off. And yes, and finally, one of the big things we had to do is we have elevators in the building that weren't functional. And because we were out for so long, we had to work to get a functioning elevator. And that took a little time, but we now have a functioning and clean elevator as well. So we have been moving items out. We are working towards a solution for a permanent home. We continue to work behind the scenes, and I'm confident we can solve these problems. This morning, I'd like to end with words inspired by President John F. Kennedy, who said something like this: "Our problems are man and women made, therefore they can be solved by man and women. And we, people, can be as big as we want. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings." I still believe that to be true, and I still believe in the future of Cayuga County. Thank you.